Something's missing here. I know. Much better. Welcome back to my cozy corner, you guys. It's your girl Jen, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Just a regular college student, Kelsey Dominguez. But if you're not new here, welcome back to the chaos. Now, it is summertime officially. It is May 30th, and it's also a Saturday. So I figure, why not spend my day off recording for next week and uploading tomorrow? Because I guess my new upload days and recording days are going to be the weekends because those are my days off. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing how many books? I think it was like 8 books that I read in May. And of course, next week we'll be talking about my bleh. Next week we'll be going over my June TBR. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the books that I read this month. These books, I won't lie, like some of them were good, but some of them were just such a drag to get through. None of the ratings were under 3.5 stars, but some of them were still just a drag to get through. I don't know if that's on me, where I'm just like too nice of a rater or not, but this is what it is. So without further ado, Shadow and Bone Trilogy is the first book on our list, the first series on our list. Let me go ahead and open this and get these out of the box because that's where I put them when I was done reading them. So this trilogy, obviously, as the name entails, has 3 books in it. The first book is the Shadow and Bone book, and let me go ahead and pull up my plot synopsis so I know what I'm talking about and remember what I'm talking about. For the Shadow and Bone trilogy, I'm just going to kind of go over the whole series tandemly and kind of give you a very brief, detailed plot synopsis without going over too many spoilers or any spoilers. And basically, Alina and Mal are 2 orphans that join the Second Army as they come of age. One day, they enter the fold on a skiff, which is basically like a land boat, and the fold is this stretch of land that was once healthy and rich, but is now essentially like a shadow realm full of monstrous Volcra that devour anything alive. I kind of pictured the Volcra as like these gargoyle-like creatures, but they swarm in packs like hyenas or schools of fish. The fold and everything in it were created by the Dark Heretic, also known as the Darkling, and he has plans to increase the fold's area of effect to the entire realm so that he can rule over it. Back to Alina and Mal. As they enter the fold, they are immediately surrounded by the Volcra, and it's a brutal attack. Mal gets hurt, and Alina shields him with her body, but an event happens that changes her life as she knows it. The bright light emanates from her body and scares away. A bright light emanates from her body and scares away the Volcra, and the skiff is able to lead the crew to safety. Back at the Second Army camp, Alina is interrogated by the Darkling, and it comes to light, see what I did there, that she is a sun summoner of legend. But the Darkling takes Alina back to the little palace, but little does she know that he has more darker plans for her. There are 3 living artifacts of legend: the stag to the north, the serpent of the true sea, and the firebird of the desert. And so these 3 books, if you can see right here, the first book has the stag, the second book has the serpent on it, and the third book has the firebird emblem, not the firebird emblem, the firebird on it. And so the 3 books follow the line of getting these artifacts to throw over to the Darkling instead of using it to aid in his nefarious plans. There's a huge plot twist at the end of the series, and where the romance subplot comes to an aching halt, and we lose a few of the found family that we meet along the way. This whole series as a whole, definitely 5 stars. My only wish is that I read it as a younger person when I was reading the Percy Jackson series, because I feel like my frontal lobe wasn't fully developed at that point, and it's still not fully developed now, but I feel like at that point my brain was much more creative and didn't see through the bullshit as like an older person would. And so reading this as an adult kind of it definitely brought me back to my childhood when I was reading those Percy Jackson books. I feel like I would have liked it a little bit more, but definitely the whole series as a whole, 5 freaking stars. Book 1, 4 stars. Book 2, probably like a 4 to a 4.5. And the third book was like a 5 stars for sure. That ending, dude, it was so cute. Like, it just came full circle I believe it was in the epilogue, but full circle, running an orphanage, just it was so cute. Because in the beginning and end of every book, it's like it starts off with a narrator telling the story. So like, a boy and girl lived in the orphanage, and this is what happened, and blah blah blah. And then at the end, it's like a boy and girl returns to the orphanage, and they're overrunning it, and blah 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 blah. Like, it's just so cute, so wholesome. I was definitely crying. It was just, it was so cute. If you want to learn more about everything that I'm talking about in this video, except for the last book or the last 2 books that I read this month, go ahead and I have it linked down in the description box. I haven't yet figured out how to populate the link itself here, but anyway, that in the description if you feel like reading it or if you feel like watching it. 24-hour readathon challenge. I don't know if I failed or not. You're gonna have to check that out for yourself. But that brings us next to the Thorns, the language of, what is this? Okay, I always get this mixed up. It's called the Language of Thorns, and no, it's called the Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales, and Dangerous Magic. It's literally just a bunch of short stories. I would love to have a daughter one day. Well, son, daughter doesn't really matter, but because this is blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Okay, I would love to have a child one day where I read these to her as bedtime stories and stuff. Probably more like when she's 12. I'd be like, hey, daughter, guess what I found out today? Blah, 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 blah. But where am I going with this? This is just a bunch of short stories that are like bedtime stories, kind of scary, kind of spooky. And I'm just going to go ahead and read the plot synopsis. So it's a bunch of grim fairy tale retellings in the Grishaverse. We get the Beauty and the Beast, a Robin Hood retelling, Hansel and Gretel, a waterbending fighter, no, a waterbender fighting for the hand of a lovely maiden. Yes, we get the Avatar in here too. And the Nutcracker and an Ursula origin story from the Little Mermaid. This was at the end. That was probably my favorite one. Between the fox story, they're basically like the Robin Hood retelling is about a fox instead of Robin Hood, so it's a fox, blah blah blah. That story and the last story, which was the Ursula origin story retelling. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Were my favorites. They were very like you just felt a lot of like feelings. You felt a lot of anguish, and just definitely like recommend these stories. Next on the list is the Daughter of the Moon Goddess duology. I'm just going to talk about the first one. I took a break, and then I'm going to talk about the second one, and then we'll continue. But the Daughter of the Moon Goddess was so annoying, only because I wish I was younger so that my child brain would appreciate it a little bit more. Because me as an adult reading a child, well, essentially like a very young, no brain developed, sheltered child go through these things, I'm just like, girl, are you serious? Like, you could have seen that coming a mile away. And it's just, I give this a 3.5 star. It was fine. I just feel like if I was younger, I would appreciate it more. I'm 22. I'm over the fluffy, cute, like innocent BS. But anyway, Daughter of the Moon Goddess, a coming-of-age story following Xingyin, the daughter of the Moon Goddess. Her mother was imprisoned by the Celestial Emperor and has been hiding a secret from the rest of the world. This secret goes by the name Xingyin, and one day she accidentally uses her power, which alerts the Celestial Empress. The Empress visits the Moon Goddess and leaves after the Moon Goddess convinces her that nothing is amiss. Xingyin then flees the moon and goes into hiding as a maid in a noble's house. One day, the Celestial Prince finds Xingyin washing clothes by the lake and takes a liking to her. He invites her to join a competition to become his companion, and then years go by, and she joins the army to become strong and hopes to have many feats of bravery to win the Celestial Emperor's favor in order to request a boon to release her mother from imprisonment. Things happen at the end of this book, and her mother is freed. However, Xingyin no longer has the Celestial Emperor's favor. After that book, I had to just have a big, fluffy, like, palette cleanser. I needed something real. I needed something realistic. I needed something relatable. I'm in college. This was a perfect book for that. And this is going to be The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This book follows this hockey tutor romance, this hockey tutor romance follows Hannah Wells and Garrett Graham. Having failed his ethics exam, Garrett slash asshole slash womanizer Graham seeks the help of Hannah Wells, also known as Wellesley, after seeing that she got an A on the same midterm that they took. After much convincing this to strike a deal, Wellesley would tutor Graham in exchange for a fake dating that would lead to her getting her crush, Justin, to notice her and ask her out. Wellesley went through a traumatic event during her teenage years and is now unable to orgasm during intimate relations. She and Graham work through this obstacle and realize that their affections for each other. Justin is now horribly forgotten in the dust, and Wellesley and Graham work through systematic differences in order to be together. This book was the perfect palette cleanser. No, palette cleanser. There we go. And it's something that I really needed. I need exactly what I said. I needed something real, adult, relatable, blah, 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 blah. So it was perfect. It definitely was a 5-star book. Not like my favorite 5-star. Like, I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking like all the books that I've rated 4.5, 5-star and above, like they don't touch my, I guess what you would call 6-star reads. And those are like The Throne of Glass, the Akatar, the freaking, I don't know, any of the other ones that I plan to reread next year. And it's like these books live rent free in my head. Why am I having such a hard time talking today? Anyway, these books live rent free in my head, and I like really want to read them. And I've decided that next year, for the first half of the year, I would literally dive straight into all these books that I've been missing, because usually once a year I'll read them, but this year I filled up my TBR, and now I just have no space or room to read The Throne of Glass in its entirety, and Akatar, Fourth Wing, whatever. So yeah, long story short, long rant over. That perfect palette cleanser. I don't know why it's so hard to talk today. After that, I did go into Heart of the Sun Warrior, and just this is going to be like a very, very short plot synopsis. I feel like nothing happened in that book. Like, it's really annoying because the author tried to implement a love triangle in the first book, and it carried over into the second book, and again, at the end of it, nothing happened. Or something did happen, I'm not going to say because it is a spoiler, but it's like, at the end of it, I didn't care who she ended up with. I really, really, really wish that it was just like a friendship, and like the whole like friendship and is magic trope. I would have had such a better time with that if it wasn't a whole back and forth between these like three people, between betrayal and like, you know, low-key cheating and like, I don't know, it was just a lot. It was irritating, you know, but whatever. So the Heart of the Sun Warrior, after after winning her mother's freedom from the Celestial Emperor, Shingen regenerates her lost magic in the enchanting tranquility of her home. But her fragile peace is threatened by the discovery of a strange magic on the moon via the laurel trees, and must face a new threat in disguise as the Emperor's most trusted advisor plans to overthrow the Celestial Kingdom. Shingen must face previous traitors and invite the help of both friend and foe to save the kingdom. I give this book a 3.5 stars, same as the first book. I don't know if I put it as a 4-star on Goodreads or not, but it doesn't really matter because you can't do half stars on Goodreads anyway. But this is definitely a 3.5 as well, 3.5 star as well. Like I said, it was just kind of annoying, and I feel like if I was younger, I would have appreciated it a little bit more. And that's nothing like to bash. That's not to bash on the book. It was fine. It was fine. That was it. It was fine. I would recommend this book if you like dragons, if you like I don't know, like something light. But also, this is like these books are 400 pages long, so it's definitely not light. But it is fluffy. It is like, you know, definitely like child approved. We go through two different love interests. One of them is like the big baddie, or not a big baddie, but it's like one of them's a little bit more morally gray. The other one's like some sugar prince or whatever. And it's like you can definitely tell who she may end up with, but the whole duology goes through a bunch of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between these two people. And Xingyan, being the what do you call it, the sheltered innocent being that she is, just can't decide on who to pick. Like, they're like, at the end of it, I would just like, if they both ended up together, I wouldn't care. If neither of them ended up together, that'd be fine too. And it just went like, there were so many points where she was like, oh, both of them maybe, or like none at all, or like both, or one or the other. It was just annoying. Whole thing to say, it was kind of annoying. But yeah, they were fine. They were fine. I just wish I was younger, so I would appreciate it more. Now brings the last book in the month of May that I read in the month of May. This is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I want to say this was a 3.75 star. Not quite a 5-star or a 4-star, just because I have read Ali Hazelwood's other STEM romances, or at least like one other of them. I read the Love Theoretically book, 5-star, absolutely loved it. This was a more cringy version of that, I'm not gonna lie. So we're following B. Königswasser. When I read the plot synopsis at the beginning of May, like my May TBR video, I had no idea what her freaking name was, and I was like, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. But B. Königswasser is a neuroscientist, and Levi Ward, her former grad school nemesis, who are forced to co-lead a project at NASA. B, inspired by Marie Curie, finds the NASA opportunity a dream come true. But her excitement diminishes when she learns that she'll be paired with Levi. Levi is a tall, dark, and piercing-eyed man. Like, literally every sentence in this book was like, oh my god, he has piercing green eyes. But yeah, back to the plot synopsis. He made his feelings towards B clear in grad school, and their working relationship initially proves challenging due to their history. Despite the initial friction, B and Levi find themselves working together, and the lives between the professional and personal start to blur. They begin to develop a deeper connection, even outside of the office, with the potential for something more within a professional partnership. However, the relationship is complicated by Levi's friend, who is a charming but potentially dangerous individual who threatens B's career. Ultimately, Levi must choose between his friendship and his feelings for B, creating a conflict that tests their connection. This story explores the complexities of romantic relationships, the power of STEM, and the importance of working through personal conflicts to achieve both professional and personal success. Yeah, like I said, this book was fine. Not bad, not good at all. The only like parts that were slightly cringy that definitely lowered the rating for me, and maybe this is just a me problem, but I totally adore like STEM girlies and STEM men who are like shy and demure and never have had like a social interaction in their entire life. And it definitely brings like I feel like Ali Hazelwood definitely brought about that sort of connection, as in like very socially awkward. These are two very socially awkward people who like had some misunderstanding when they were younger and in grad school, and kind of misunderstanding, but I could definitely see how B like saw it when she was in grad school and seeing this man just like leering at her and like glaring at her and just like not seeming like a great person. So initially, B thinks that he hates her, and like the entire book is just like him finally coming out to her and be like, no, I actually like you. Like, I'm in love with you, but also you're married. And so, you know, and that was like a big, and again, misunderstanding, miscommunication. And, you know, they worked it out and they started to have the relationship. This whole, like, it's funny because I put this plot synopsis from Google this morning. I just copied and pasted it. The rest of the plot synopsis that I just read right now were like ones that I personally made. But the whole, like, relationship is complicated by Levi's friend, who's a charming but potentially dangerous individual who threatens B's career. That's the plot twist. that's not a plot synopsis. Like the entire book, like you don't even really see Levi's friend being like, um like a little edgy or scary or like, slightly like red flaggish or whatever. He like asks her out and then Levi is like, dude, she's married. And like he's like, oh, damn, sorry. But anyway, being besides the point, this entire book was really cute. There were some moments where I was just kind of cringed out where he was like super nervous and shy and awkward and he's like, can I kiss you? And just like this very socially awkward way. Like not in a moment where it's like up against the wall, steamy, like, oh my gosh, like, are you sure I can kiss you right now? Like, are you like maybe you're drunk or like maybe you're traumatized or whatever, like, oh, can I kiss you? Like something romantic and very cute. It was more like cringy moment. Can I kiss you right now? And it was one of those like cringy moments that I was just like, that's kind of weird, that's kind of gross, icky, whatever. But it's like obviously these are two socially awkward STEMists. So I was just like, yeah, you get a free pass. The ending was cute, definitely. I think they get married. Yeah, they get married. I think they eloped or something like that. Yeah, 3.5 stars. It was fine. This entire month, I was just missing I was going through finals. Yeah, I was prepping for starting my job, which by the way 2 weeks in, training is over. I'm about to like finally go out there and do the whole thing. I'm so excited, just over the moon and stuff. But the books that I read this month were definitely, I don't know. I wanted to like to go back to my dark romance roots and just like high fantasy roots and just like read something really fun. But I also had like to study for finals and all these things. So I don't know. This whole month was cute. It was fine. This whole month reading wise was fine. That'll be the end of this video. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this and upload a little bit later today. But if you liked it, go ahead and like and don't forget to subscribe and definitely hit that notification bell so you never miss when I upload a new video. New video will be next week. What time I have no idea, but I will see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, quick thing, if you want to comment down below if you've read any of these books, and if you have, go ahead and recommend to me some more books, or just like tell me how your day was, or just like, I don't know, put a little star emoji for, I don't know, 5 stars or whatever. But anyways, I will see you guys next time.